Hello everybody, and welcome to my review of It. No, Stephen King's It. The title of the movie is called It. So, It. I want to apologise recently for my lack of content. I've been extremely busy, and I'm been very tired. I haven't had a chance to do this yet. But I thought, tiredness be damned, I will go and see it and review it, as everyone's talking about it. So it's getting rave reviews. I understand the book by Stephen King is very popular. So yeah, I thought I'd go and check this one out. Excuse me. So the plot of It, and I'm just going to read off the IMDb description. It'll be best rather than doing a lengthy description, because it's really not that difficult of a plot. A group of bullied kids band together when a shape-shifting demon, taking the appearance of the clown, begins hunting children. And that is essentially what's going on in It. So, It. This is a very good film. I was very surprised because I'm not necessarily somebody who indulges in horror movies. The reason for that is I find the genre itself to be very generic. I mean, I like some horror movies. I've only seen like 2 or 3 other horror movies. I've seen the Final Destination movies. I've seen The Woman in Black from 2012. I've seen Horns. I've seen a couple of other things over the years. But I'm not really a champion on horror films. I just think it's a genre that doesn't really... There's only so much you can do with it. So when I was going into this, I wasn't really expecting too much, although everybody was raving about this movie. So I thought, okay, I'll go and see it just to see what it was like. And yeah, it's very good. I don't really understand the universal hype for it, but it was entertaining. I thought it was very entertaining for what it was. I mean, the premise is pretty simple. I mean, you have this... I mean, you have all these different characters. Basically, the movie centers around all of these kids who who you kind of root for. And I have to say, that was very interesting. What I didn't expect with this movie was the fact that it had these group of kids, and it was actually kind of charming, and to see them, develop their relationships. The main kid, called Billy, who has this sort of stutter, he was a very good character, and he definitely he proved a lot of his courage. I mean, he had to deal with an emotional storyline. The fact that his brother was taken away from him, presumed dead. Well, his brother died at the beginning of the movie, which was a very creepy, creepy scene. And then you've got all these other characters. Like there's some other boys. I think one of them, the sort of big overweight little boy called Ben. And they're all getting bullied for various reasons. Billy's getting bullied for his stutter. Ben's getting bullied for his weight. Richie is also getting bullied as well. Eddie's getting bullied because he's like ill. His mum is obsessed with keeping him protected, so she gives him this fake medication to, suppress his need to go out with his friends. And you have the main, excuse me, you have the main female of this movie, Beverly, who's everyone accuses as being a slut, whereas they don't know the truth behind the matter, that her father is actually a prick, and that's putting it lightly. And then there's Mike as well, who's the black kid, who's obviously that's the racist thing. There's a racial relations thing. So the movie's very diverse, and I thought the character development was very good. Considering it's a horror movie as well, it's you actually really do care about the characters, and that was something I didn't expect the movie would do. So I was really glad that it did that. And the moments when they are getting attacked by Pennywise, who's the clown, were genuinely terrifying and threatening. I can tell that Stephen King has actually put a lot into this story. And the way the kids develop all the courage that they need to defeat the clown, I thought was very admirable. And actually just the scenes when you explore their friendship. Particularly there's one scene where they go swimming in a lake. That was really good. Beverly kind of just joins in with them. I mean, she's a little bit older than them. I think she's about 2 or 3 years older than them. I mean, they're all gawping at her. They all sort of fancy her, really. But yeah, that was funny. So the movie had its moments of comedy. Actually, I was very surprised. It's not all dark and grim and depressing. It actually has lightness. It has light relief. You actually get wrapped up in the comedy. And speaking of that, I feel like part of my experience in watching this film was ruined by the fucking audience I was with. The audience I was with, well, some of them were laughing continuously, even at the parts that weren't funny. Well, at least to me, the parts that weren't funny. I mean, I laughed at some bits. I thought some bits were quite cute and charming, and they did get some laughs at me. But the people were laughing at every little thing. Even during some of the most intense scenes, they were laughing. I was just thinking, what the fuck? And what was funny was then this other guy said, this random guy said to them, can I just say you all have amazing laughs? That's just the cherry on top of the cake. So I feel like that's a slight annoyance to watching this film. I feel like to properly enjoy this movie, I'd have to see it again. I think the movie is directed sharply. Who directed this movie? Let me see. Andy Muschietti. He did a great job directing this movie. It's very sharp. Some of the camera angles are really good. Like there's a load of Dutch angles. That's to create the effect of abnormality, and they do that really well. I mean, there are scenes that are quite freaky. A lot of scenes are quite freaky. You never know quite what this clown is going to do, and I like that. They play off, and the tension throughout is really good, despite the fact that you do have light relief moments. Moments to breathe. Oh, like phew. Oh, it's you can have moments where you can kind of enjoy, and you can have moments where you cry. The movie actually ends up going in quite an emotional direction towards the end. I won't say what actually happens, but it's the scene in the sewer at the very end where Bill has to make a choice. Basically, Bill's making his choice, and that was really, really good. The acting is superb. I mean, these kids can act. They're all great. The dialogue kind of lends itself to them. I mean, this is set in the late 1980s, and they definitely make full use of the language that they use. I thought Beverly, Sophia Lillis, who plays Beverly, being that sort of the only female, she does a great job, and her story was really interesting. I was really, really worried that her dad was going to do something horrible, and by that I mean watch the movie and you'll find out what he's really like. So the movie starts out and you kind of just see the kids being bullied, and it's like, oh, okay. I mean, after the opening scene, you go to the school and you see them being bullied, and life isn't treating them very well. But yet they're all kind of friends, and some of them come into the group a bit late in the day. But that's interesting to see. Characters like Mike, who's just kind of there, like he just comes in, and and then Ben comes in as well. Although we do see Ben a bit more than we do see Mike. I feel like Mike is the character that is the least developed. I mean, I like his story. He's lost his parents, and he's working with his granddad, and he's kind of struggling emotionally as well. So it was nice, but his screen time was very limited. I thought he could have joined the group a bit sooner, but that is a nitpick. The movie looks fantastic. I mean, the production design is great. I mean, and also the location stuff they have is quite immense. The best scenes are the scenes in the house, in the sort of abandoned house. Those scenes were really chilling. And Pennywise the clown, amazing. Bill Skarsgård did a superb job. I mean, it's I've never normally been scared of a clown, but this might be the first time I've actually been scared of a clown. It's it's very creepy. And the first scene that we see him when he's underneath he's in the sewer and he's talking to George, the young boy. I mean, you know where it's going to go. You know where that scene's going to go, but it's still creepy. It's still very creepy. I also thought the music score was very good and very tense. And it was nice to see that the bullies also got their comeuppance as well. Like some of the stuff the bullies do, particularly to the overweight boy Ben, that was harsh. But I think this is definitely a movie that's going to be remembered, especially if you're a Stephen King fan. It totally makes up for the mess that was The Dark Tower. So this is the Stephen King movie that people wanted to see, and I think people will definitely remember it. It will go down as a classic. It's not a masterpiece. I don't think it's perfect. If I had any criticisms, my only main criticism would be that it's too long. It's too long. It's 2 hours 15 minutes. For me, for a horror movie, that is just too long. I mean, the pacing was fine, but there's a good 20 minutes during the middle where it just kind of drags. Not much really happens, and I think they could have trimmed some of it down. If the movie was dead on 2 hours, then I think that would have been better. The ending is nice. Obviously, it kind of ends openly because I think what they've done is they've split the book. Because if I'm correct, and I haven't read the book, so I can't compare it, but from what one of my friends told me, the first half of the book deals with them when they're younger, and the second half deals with them when they're older. So I think what they've done in the movie version is obviously splitting it into 2 movies creates a better structure. So this movie, they're all kids. So the next movie, we'll see them as adults when the clown comes back. I mean, you know, it's never really gone, is it? And the ending was nice. It was really nice. I mean, they all make a pact to basically fight the clown off again if he comes back. So they're basically alluding to the next one. They're setting it up quite well. I don't really have much to say about it. Other than that, I thought it surprised me on quite a few levels. Considering I'm not a horror fan, I actually got a good kick out of it, and I enjoyed seeing the characters and the story. The story is a basic story, but it works. It works. I mean, there's little individual subplots for the characters, but that all interweaves very well. It's a very well written movie. It's a very well directed movie. It's a very well acted movie, and it's a visually stunning movie. I mean, there's one particular scene which happens in Beverly's bathroom, which is very striking in terms of the imagery. So I will, in terms of the blood that comes out. So that was nice. Yeah. So yeah, there's not much else I could say. I don't think it's a masterpiece. It's a bit too long. I think some of the pacing could have been chopped. But other than that, I really like this movie, and I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. A very good, very strong 9 out of 10. Yeah. But only see this movie if you have a strong stomach for horror movies. if you're not really into clowns, you're gonna hate this movie because he pops up a lot. But it's worth seeing for the characters anyway. So that's my review of it, guys. So stay tuned for my review of Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Until then, thank you all for watching, and as always, I'm Mr. TARDIS11. See ya.